If the professionalism and integrity demonstrated by Jamesville, North Carolina logger Frankie Aance could fuel and lubricate his trucks and other equipment, he'd have enough to meet his needs and then some. Professionalism and integrity typify the Aance organizations, which consist of Aance Logging, a logging and chipping company with 2 crews, Frankie Aance Trucking, a transportation enterprise, and Woodridge Timber, a wood procurement entity that includes a contract wood storage yard. With an investment exceeding $5 million, the closely related but separately managed companies employ 37 and involve Frankie's wife, Danette, son, Bryce, daughter, Hillary Dotson, son-in-law, Chris Dotson, and registered forester, Mason Lilly, a longtime business associate. A logger since 1978 and fully independent since 1996, the 58-year-old Aance is an earnest, hands-on guy who still approaches the challenge with conviction and enthusiasm. He operates or repairs a machine as deftly as he plans, adjusts, adapts, supervises, and manages, or engages a landowner. He is strong-minded about safety, employee well-being, public image, cleanliness, the environment, and care for the land. Step up to an Aance logging worksite and you'll notice a lot of blaze orange. But the owner's concern for employee safety and security goes much deeper than colorful vests, t-shirts, and hard hats. For example, the company maintains an emergency plan for both crews, keeping it in a special box prominently affixed to service trucks. The plan includes medical histories of each employee. This data is cross-referenced with the formal names of employees as found on their hard hats, the premise being that someone might know their coworkers only by nicknames, and in an emergency, that might not be good enough. Also included in the plan is the location and phone number of the nearest hospital and directions to it. Medical records are updated periodically and hospital information may change when the crews relocate. This approach, along with the practice of indoctrinating new hires about the company's safety policies and procedures before they mount a machine or a truck, dates back to 1989. That's when Aance hired a full-time safety coordinator, quite a stretch for the time for any logger in the region. When that person died a few years ago, Frankie and Danette kept her work going, eventually turning it over to a hired safety consultant who today conducts separate monthly safety meetings for harvesting workers and truck drivers. Aance insists on random drug tests for drivers and is very selective in hiring, saying he'd rather have a truck remain inactive for months than employ a driver whose behavior might reflect negatively on the company. As stressed by signs posted at landings on logging and chipping jobs, full personal protection gear is required, and this applies to both employees and visitors. On-site signs also remind truck drivers to turn on their lights as they leave the woods. Truck traffic warning signs are placed on public highways near the intersection of access roads, and the company doesn't hesitate to use flagmen if those in charge deem it necessary. Employees receive safety bonuses for each quarter that comes and goes without a lost time injury. Needless to say, this routine is rarely broken. A regular visitor will notice new safety enhancement measures from time to time. For instance, Frankie recently began using steel log storage racks on the job he supervises. They are set up at the landing where numerous log sorts are made and stacked, at times quite high. Developed a few years ago by another North Carolina logger, the racks keep logs in check, preventing roll-offs and potential injuries to workers or bystanders. If not already, Bryce will soon have them on his job. The moral obligation notwithstanding, Aance believes an elevated safety program helps attract and retain employees, promotes stability, undergirds productivity, reduces certain expenses, and contributes to peace of mind. But Arance's concern for the well-being of employees goes beyond the safety zone. The organization finds a way to offer a number of incentives and benefits, including health and other types of insurance, a simple IRA retirement plan, annual paid vacation, holiday pay, and Christmas dinner and bonus. This concern is among the reasons why their workforce is stable and why some have remained with the company a long time. For instance, Ernest Hodges has been on board for 28 years. He operates a loader on Frankie's crew and is the foreman when the boss is away. Frankie and Danette are quick to underscore the hard work and dedication of all employees in making the organization reputable, efficient, and professional, saying, quote, They do excellent work and take pride in what they do. The Aance Group realizes the importance of the public's perception of its businesses, not to mention the forest industry at large. Accordingly, all loads are neatly trimmed and trucks are washed weekly. Its logging and shipping jobs are widely known for their clean, well-maintained equipment and neat, well-organized landings. Machines are power washed regularly, not only for appearance but also to cleanse away debris, reduce fire risk, and expose metal fatigue. Machine operators clean the inside of cabs using Armor All protectant as they go. Workmen store trash bags on site and use them to keep work sites free of litter. As well, they're careful to contain motor and hydraulic oils, but if there happens to be an oil or fuel spill in the woods or on the highway, they clean it up with hazmat kits kept at the ready. Cleanliness of the job meshes with Frankie's strong commitment to meet or exceed BMP and SMZ guidelines as he goes to extended lengths to care for the land. He uses steel bridges for crossing streams, walking each track to find the best place to position them, and places wooden mats on soft landings and access roads to reduce rutting and to keep mud off public roads. Further, regarding skidder tires, he prefers to run larger-size duals. This setup enhances productivity when conditions are wet, but perhaps more importantly, the wide duals reduce soil compaction and all but eliminate rutting. Track feller bunchers and loaders help minimize soil disturbance as well. Still, when conditions become bad, the crews willingly move out until they improve. Aance sums up his operating philosophy. He says, quote, "We put safety first, quality second. If you log that way, production will come along right behind it. If you put production first, something will go lacking." Between them, the crews harvest about 200,000 tons of roundwood and 100,000 tons of fuel chips per year, roughly 70% softwood and 30% hardwood, and delivers multiple types of products to half a dozen markets within a 100-mile radius of Jamesville. They primarily work on private tracts procured by Woodridge Timber, which also buys timber for other loggers working under the Woodridge umbrella. 2 full-time mechanics work from a well-equipped 7,000-square-foot shop, where a full-time utility and tires man is assigned to trucks. The maintenance regimen is meticulous and all but the most complex repairs are performed in-house to help contain costs. Routine maintenance and more straightforward repairs are done in the woods with the support of 2 relatively new, well-equipped service trucks and 2 vans stocked with parts and supplies. Combined maintenance, repair, and supply expenses amount to roughly $550,000 per year, about 70% of this for the logging side. Acknowledging that trucking is a, quote, necessary evil, Aance manages it quite well, all things considered. He has always legally separated trucking from logging, the main reasons being performance transparency and liability concerns. He uses a blend of his own trucks and those of subcontractors. Even though the state recently increased allowable tandem weight to 44,000 pounds and gross weight to 90,000, his loader operators, aided by portable scales, aim for no more than 85,000. The logger had rather play it safe and not sacrifice fuel economy or truck and trailer life. A few years ago, Frankie supported formation of the North Carolina Association of Professional Loggers, and today continues to serve on its board. He is extremely proud of how much the logging group has accomplished in its short life and expects this aggressive trend to continue. He recently hosted the group's first community college forestry equipment operator class, taking time to answer questions and share his experience. Little did the class know that it was being exposed to textbook logging as done in the eastern part of the state. Aance is also a member of the Forest Resources Association and the North Carolina Forestry Association, which honored him as its Logger of the Year in 1995. That same year, the Forest Resources Association named him its Southeastern Outstanding Logger, an honor that qualified Aance as a candidate for that group's national title in 1996. The businessman is actively involved in the Jamesville Christian Church. As well, the Aance organization sponsors several local Little League baseball teams and support Log-A-Load for Kids of the Children's Miracle Network. Looking ahead, Aance sees logging capacity and high operating costs as ongoing issues and believes that expanding biomass markets will benefit loggers and landowners in his operating area. He says he'll step aside within 10 years, hoping to enjoy at least one more run at heavy demand before turning the business over to Bryce. Perhaps at that time, Frankie and Danette can enjoy the travel experiences they have denied themselves. Frankie hints that Bryce may opt to downsize to a single crew once he assumes control. Be that as it may, Bryce will likely preserve the family's tight-grained legacy, clinging to the fundamentals that have propelled the organizations to a high level of respect and professionalism. There's no doubt the Aance organizations have earned a place among the nation's logging elite. They set a gleaming example, a model of high standards that others would do well to follow. Folks, please show your appreciation for the Frankie Aance family and the exemplary manner in which it represents the nation's logging industry.